Welcome to Chaotic Harmony. My name is John.
This is Crystal.
I'm Marc.
I'm Zoe.
We talk about the joys and the challenges of teaching music in the elementary school classroom. We share inspiration, we share struggles, we brainstorm solutions. We would love to have you join us.
Awesome. So, actually, Crystal, you want to lead us off?
Sure. Yeah. We decided that we wanted to get together and tell you guys about the exciting things that we have been doing in Chula Vista Elementary School District. All of us are elementary music teachers down there, and we've all built programs from scratch within the last 5 years. And we've gotten to know and love each other really well over the last few years in professional development, and it has been a joy and an honor to get to build something from nothing and to change the lives of a couple thousand kids between the four of us.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It is amazing.
I think that's what I really love about Chula Vista. Like, we've been working hard down there, but it's really like the camaraderie we have amongst each other. Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, Crystal, thanks for having us at your house.
Oh, no worries.
Thank you, Brian.
It's the best.
Yeah, my hubby Brian is behind the scenes over here making this podcast happen. So I wanted to get us together, and I felt really, really strongly that we needed to record our stories just while we're in the middle of the building, and just kind of introduce the ideas to the world and get it out there that it's possible to replicate what we're doing.
You know, there's nothing really more powerful than stories. That's what we have. You know, it's what we grow, it's what we learn from, or stories. And
Absolutely.
so we're just trying to share ours.
I'd argue that that's one of the reasons the way we teach also. It's not so much that they perfect their musicality, but the stories that they bring along, be it the musicianship or just, hey, that was fun that we created a cloud on my foot.
But we'll get to that
We'll get
later.
there later, yeah. So the next this is our first episode here for Chaotic Harmony. And we're going to be spending some time interviewing each of us around the table, as well as people outside, as well as talking about different topics about what it's like to be a music educator down in Chula Vista. But today, this being our first episode, we decided to choose Crystal and focus on her.
Yay, Crystal!
Woo.
Hi, guys.
So, Crystal, you've already said your name. That's wonderful.
We did.
Could you explain, where are you teaching currently?
Sure. I teach general music and strings to K through 6th graders at Finney Elementary School. It's actually a border school, so we're about 5 miles from the U.S.-Mexico border. We have a very underprivileged population, so lots of poverty in our area, and our kids are 100% free lunch and breakfast at school. We're a Title I school.
How long have you been teaching there?
3 years, 2 years full time. I just completed it. We're wrapping up our school year as we record right now. So yes, so 2 years I've been there full time. 1 year I was split between 2 school sites.
How was that? I know that makes a huge difference being part time versus full time. How was that?
Oh, it's been life changing. I went from teaching over 1,000 kids at 2 school sites to getting to know about 400, and I get to see them once a week. Whereas before, when I was split between 2 schools, I got to see every class about once a month.
I just remembered your second year when I was at Horace Lincoln after school, and your students walking from Finney to Horace Lincoln with their cellos on the back.
Aww,
like 1 mile,
memory.
to get to Opus. That was really cool.
Yeah, so Zoe taught an after-school music program called Opus at my one of my first school sites, and was able to get to know some of my kiddos after school.
That was really great because you had kind of like, you know, they caught the music bug from you, and they were willing to like make that effort.
And then you just brought that infection fuller?
Yes.
Yeah.
At your school site, Finney, so I know you teach general music.
Yes.
What else do you teach?
I teach strings. We have a full set of string instruments.
Okay.
We're a VH1 Save the Music school, so we have a full set of string instruments. They gifted us with violins, violas, and cellos. And we have music stands and curriculum from VH1. And then general music is Orff Schulwerk based, so we have a full set of Orff instruments.
Awesome.
What does a typical day in your classroom look like?
Ooh, I like to keep them on their toes.
Yeah.
So I'm a big believer in moving. I can't sit still. So I like to keep the kids moving from the minute they come over to the room. So if it's like kindergarten, 1st, 2nd grade, we always enter my room singing and dancing. So I've now trained my teachers to don't even try to walk into my room. You leave them in the hallway. And because there's always a movement activity, we'll swim into my room, or we'll walk into a steady beat, or we'll be a choo-choo train, or I'll tell them, get on my bus, and we're going to drive the bus into the room. It's really fun.
What's been your most exhilarating entrance?
Ooh. Well, so there's so many good ones.
Sure.
My art teacher that I work with is just phenomenal, and she's married to a bluegrass bass player, and she has like this knowledge of folk music and rock music that I am just so grateful for, because it's expanded my own knowledge in such a big way. So she has this song that she does by the Grateful Dead that's about a monkey who takes over a train, and it's awesome, and the kids love it. So we go in and we're like, and I feel like one of the third grade teachers was like, isn't that such a great like model for school, like the monkeys take over the train? And I was like, we're gonna roll with it. So we're monkeys like driving a choo-choo train. It's pretty fantastic.
Who's a music teacher that deeply inspired you today?
So, my parents are both musicians, classically trained musicians, and they were my first music teachers. So we were homeschooled one year because we had a cross-country move as a family. We moved from Phoenix, Arizona to Birmingham, Alabama, and it was right in the middle of the school year. So Dad was a teacher for 25 years. So he decided to just homeschool us to help make that transition easier.
Did you live in an RV? Like a motorhome?
No, we didn't, but we definitely lived in like the Residence Inn for a long time while we looked for a house. So we were...
How long, if you don't mind me asking?
I think it was like 3 months.
Oh, gosh.
We were real sick of each other. But that was tight quarters. We made it work, though.
I remember like something similar happened to me before.
Yeah.
And when you share that to kids, oh, you live in a hotel? That's awesome. So, no, for the long term, no. It's tough.
We called it the shoebox. But Dad was, since he was a music, person, he wanted us to learn an instrument that year, and he hated the recorder, so he bought us penny whistles. So because we're Irish heritage, and he used it to teach us about our heritage as well. So cool. I learned the tin whistle. Still have it.
Can you play something on it?
I don't have it with me, Mark.
Well, not currently, but
yeah. Well, it's the same fingerings as the recorder, so 100%.
Can we do them post?
Yes. Yeah, right. We'll layer that over. You hear my sick penny whistle playing.
That'll be the background music for this section.
There we go.
But then I also have to give a shout out to my middle school band director, Mr. David Allender in Irondale, Alabama. He was the one who introduced me to a school ensemble. So I started playing saxophone in the 6th grade. I played alto saxophone. All the way through college.
So you personally taught during elementary and then middle school. That's when you had an instructor in a general sense.
Yeah, I attended most of elementary school in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay. And I have a very vague memory of having a music teacher 1 year, but I don't think we went very often. So, and I don't even remember what it was that we would have worked on. I think it was in 1st grade. So it's really not very strong. But for the most part, I didn't have a music education in school until middle school.
Okay.
I find it really interesting how you guys moved to different, like very distinct regions of America. Yeah. And I'm wondering if you can recall like differences in your music, like what was around you at those different points in your life.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, I was born here in San Diego. So I'm a California girl by birth.
So San Diego then too. Alabama to Phoenix.
No, so San Diego to Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay, there we go.
And then we moved from Phoenix, Arizona to Birmingham, Alabama, and I went to high school in Reno, Nevada. Totally different universes. And my sister and I talk about how my dad was a minister for a while. So he was a teacher and then he was a minister. He's a creative type, so he had a few career switches. But we talk about how we kind of had to learn how to code switch between all those different regions, and I think it's made me like the person I am today for sure, like just comfortable in any state, any setting, because we learned really quickly that people are people no matter where you are, and you'll find your friends that you fit. And we also learned that it doesn't matter where you go, you're still yourself. Sure. With all of your quirks and your flaws and the good things about you too. So it was a good thing to learn. But anyway, back to the music question. I mean, Alabama is very marching band focused because football's so big. So when we joined the band program out there, it was huge. They put a bunch of funding into their music programs because they wanted to have a good marching band. And we did. We had a massive marching band when I was in my first year of high school.
Do you remember how big it was?
I think it was like over 100, if I remember right. And the guy, the teacher who was writing the drill for marching band also wrote drill for like University of Alabama as well. So it was legit. Wow. And then we moved to the middle of nowhere, Nevada, and I mean nowhere, Dayton, Nevada. There's like, it had one stoplight, and there were 20 people in the band, and it was kind of a bummer to go from such a big like army. out there. And I kind of lived for all state ensembles after we made the move to be in a big band again that could play advanced music and choir that could read music and really sing cool stuff. So I got cool experiences, but it was very different.
Thank you for sharing that. That's the kind of beginning portion, but now it's in the main or development section.
Ooh.
So, Crystal, the ultimate question. What brought you to choosing to be a music educator?
I had a vision from an early age that I wanted to teach music. I had this notebook that I used to sketch in when I was a kid, and I wanted to. My whole family is like very mission focused. There's lots of ministers in the family, lots of teachers, and so I think I just caught that from really early, and I sketched out this after school music program that I wanted to start, and I was going to call it like Make a Joyful Noise, and I had it sketched out like how many instruments I was going to need and what the type of stuff we were going to do for the kids, and I never really lost that vision.
Okay.
I believe in the power of music to give somebody a purpose and a meaning and something to work towards, and I know it helped me focus a lot and find my family. When I was an awkward kid, I could always go to band and play and be part of a group and feel successful. So I wanted to pass that on from 5th grade.
Wow. So that vision, it sounds like it just kind of like came to you, and like you said, you wrote it down, but I don't know, it's just like I'm curious about like, did you take lots of steps? Was it like a very methodical thing, or is it always just kind of like driven from the heart, like in this, like that moment of
it definitely wasn't methodical.
Yeah.
So was it Orpha
I'm not a methodical kind of person. Yeah, it was all feeling based for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is awesome.
Thanks. I feel like I get to see that come alive every day, you know?
Yeah.
It's really cool. I sometimes I walk into the music room and I see the work that I'm doing today, and I'm just a little astounded that it's exactly what I've always wanted to do. I feel like I'm right in the center of my calling, like however you want to put it. It's really cool.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So, Val, you've been teaching for how long? Because I know you said more than just Finney. You've been teaching for a while.
Definitely. So I just finished my 11th year of full-time teaching.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, you could argue it's been longer. I taught private voice for a while, and I taught Mommy and Me classes after school, but it's been 11 years of work in a classroom.
Of those 11 years, what was probably your most exciting moment? Just one.
Oh, I know. That's so hard. I was so excited after we first got our instruments from VH1 because you guys all know, like we've started these music programs that we've been building from nothing, and I've actually now built 3 music programs from nothing.
That's radical.
We're in this music education desert down here in Southern California. They axed music in the schools in the 1980s, and so a lot of the places down here haven't seen a music education program for 30-40 years, and everywhere that I've ever taught, for some reason the administration has decided to start a program and give it a shot, but they don't have a lot to throw at it.
Yeah.
And so when I came to Finney, we didn't have any instruments, we didn't have any curriculum, we had nothing. And then we got the VH1 Save the Music grant. And oh my gosh,
shout out to VH1.
Shout
Save the
out
Music.
to VH1. And the lives that they're changing by the gift of those instruments. The day they arrived, like the kids tore the plastic off of them and held them for the first time, and it was like Christmas morning. It was so good. And then 3 months later, being on stage and holding their instruments and watching the families just, burst with pride at seeing their kids. And one of my most difficult kiddos, who had told me that he was not going to come to the concert that night because he was just too cool, was front and center holding his violin, and Mama was in the front row taking pictures and putting them on Facebook because she was so proud. And it was really neat to see that. I was like, oh, he can stand up straight.
3 months from receiving the instruments to...
Well, yeah, I mean, we weren't playing anything groundbreaking.
Sure,
we were playing the
just
dad song, DAD. Yeah.
But I'm sure the parents loved it.
They totally loved it. And the cool thing about the books that they sent us was that they came with backtracks. So, the kids are just pizzicato all day long on their open DNA strings, but put to a cool, rock beat. We sounded all right. the kids liked it, and they really felt like they were playing something.
That's awesome. Props to you for getting to 11 years of
Thank
perseverance in teaching. Props to everyone here for sticking with teaching. It's not an easy profession.
It's not.
No.
But
it's definitely enriching.
Yes.
Yep.
It's not, and I love what I do. I almost left teaching 3 years ago.
Wow.
What happened?
Well, I hit a wall. It's hard to support a family in Southern California on an elementary music teacher's salary. And then back then, I couldn't find full-time work. So I was a part-time music teacher and just trying to piece it together. And I have 2 little boys, and just trying to find somewhere where I could have, benefits and teach it. I got tired of the battle, and I got tired of staying after school for hours and hours teaching all of these after-school programs. And it was really difficult. I was burned out. I didn't have anything left for my kids at the end of the day. And I had decided that I was going to leave the teaching field and was in classes to become a computer programmer. And then I met up with my master teacher from student teaching, and she introduced me to Lauren.
Lauren Shelton is...
Yeah, she's our GAPA coordinator.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the district.
I'm glad you didn't leave.
Yeah,
Thanks, me too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wouldn't have a place to do this here, so
that's true. This podcast
That's the
about
main
counting.
reason, actually. But
I'm astounded at what's happened though in the last 3 years. To go from being in classes learning how to code in Ruby to what are we doing? You know? And I get to show up every day, and I'm excited to be at work. I'm actually sad my classroom's empty right now. I want it full of kids making noise. Yeah.
Can you recall a year or a time where you just felt like these are a lot of growing pains, and this is like, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing, but this is what I'm trying?
Yeah, the first year in Chula Vista for sure.
Yeah.
I was so full of self-doubt that year because I had just come off of this, point of burnout.
Wow.
And then I'm teaching 1,000 kids in 2 schools. And one of the school sites I was teaching in the cafeteria.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so kids are like going through getting lunch. Like we start smelling lunch at 10 a.m. when they start cooking it, and it was loud, and there were no materials. So I went to IKEA. I bought plastic cups. I had chopsticks from the local Chinese food place down the street. Those were our rhythm sticks for a while.
Creative.
I
make
went
things
to
work.
Goodwill. I bought scarves. It was we did. We made it work.
Yeah.
But it was nerve-wracking because I knew the dreams that Lauren had for what she wanted to build, and how much she talked up music education in the district. And so I kind of felt that here's this experiment that we're trying, here's this thing that we really hope succeed. But we're trying to make something out of nothing. And I just faced from the kids, like, you want me to do what?
You want me to sing?
You want me to sing? Wait, are you nuts? Who are you? Well, I remember playing children's music for them for the first time, like age-appropriate music, and they would laugh.
Yeah.
Because they'd never heard it before.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, they only heard like hip-hop and rap. Yeah.
Shifting that culture is a big boulder to push.
Yeah.
It's a big boulder.
Yes.
I think but going back to what you said earlier about, Lauren being that drive, I think that's one of the coolest things about being in Chula Vista. You have not just Lauren Shelton, but all of us 4 here, plus the multitude of teachers. I remember going to my first meeting, and oh my gosh, it's like, I have so much to learn, and I have so much I want to give because of the push from around us. And that's one thing that's been really inspiring about Chula Vista down here.
I think one of the cool things about Chula Vista is it's not competition, it's community.
Very much so.
And it's never been competition. And I think that just is one of the things that as a community we've just never, valued is, oh, well, my program's better than your program.
Yeah.
And that we recognize that it's learning and it's trying and it's failing and it's succeeding and we celebrate in that success. And I think that's a really cool thing.
Definitely. Everybody's very kid-centered.
Yeah.
And that's where it should be. The focus is on the kids and what's the quality of the education we can give them. And it's a lot less about our own individual selves. And I love that. It's really collaborative. And I went from being all alone and trying to pull a program off the ground at a private school and being the only weird music teacher I knew to walking into that very first meeting at Chula Vista and seeing all these friendly faces with people who were on the same mission. It was really neat.
I'm remembering in that first year when we were all getting to know each other and like our monthly meetings, maybe it was in the winter time, you kind of shared some scarf songs and maybe a puppet.
Was it Tchaikovsky?
song.
that you did it
Oh
with?
man, I don't remember the
Well,
exact
for the
one.
flowers. Will we open them up?
Maybe. But I do remember, like, I think I was sitting next to Sandra, and at the end, or it was probably during, because it's Sandra, we were probably talking while you were presenting. Sorry. But we were both like, she's really special. And like, it's so fascinating getting to know your story now, because like, I felt like this spiritual element. I was like, it's like we're in church or something, but like,
thanks, man.
no, seriously, like you really have that ability to like connect this to the spirit. And I think your kids are super lucky to have you in their life. And and I did have a question.
Okay.
So I'm wondering, how do you like incorporate your sense of like art making, like your artistry, into your teaching?
I never put anything in front of the kids that I don't personally enjoy, because I think the whole purpose of music and art is to love them. They should make you feel something. And so I want my room to be a place where we make beautiful things. And I know that the kids' taste is going to differ from mine. Sure. But I guess that's how I like to make sure that we're hitting as many senses as possible. And I have ADHD, so I find my attention gets snapped up pretty quickly. And if I am not engaged with multiple senses at the same time, and I'm not moving enough, my mind wanders. So I know they feel the same way, I'm not gonna like stand there and talk at them. So I guess if that makes sense. That's how I start with what feels good, really. And I find that if it's really robust and I'm switching up composers and time periods of music and giving them different textures to play with and adding lots of different movement, that we pretty easily hit all the standards that we need to hit.
Yeah. Well, because you're like a saxophonist, you're a singer, like musical theater, yes?
Yeah,
a bit.
yeah, I'm a trained musical theater singer.
So I'm wondering, do you show your students like that? Like, do you perform for them?
I like to surprise them sometimes. Like, like the other day, this kid was just being a real downer, 6th grader, just poo-pooing all over my gorgeous lesson plan.
I don't believe that.
I looked at him and I took my baton, because we were in strings, and I pointed at him and I said, "Don't tell me not to live," and I sang, "Who told you you're allowed to rain on my parade?" That's awesome. And I got a standing O. So I don't like perform for them, but it's nice to just bust it out sometimes and be like, don't mess with me.
Wow.
I know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
That's really funny.
Yeah, and just remind them. Just anyway.
Cool. I feel like you touched this already, but just to center this all together, because everyone has a different philosophy of how you should teach music. But for you, what would you define as a successful music classroom?
One where everybody belongs, one where everybody feels completely and utterly safe to be themselves, and free from any worry that anyone's going to laugh at them for expressing themselves artistically, and one that challenges them and gets them out of their comfort zone. So you have to start from a place of emotional safety in order to get to the challenge, and I don't think growth academically or artistically can occur without safety. So emotional safety for me is first and foremost, and obviously physical safety. Sure. And I drill like, we're going to stand in a circle, we're going to get in a line, we're going to evenly space ourselves, we're going to gently bump each other's fists so that we know that we have enough space to do our dance moves without hitting someone in the face. We're going to hold our rhythm sticks correctly so they don't go flying out of our hands. Physical safety first, but emotional safety more. And it's one of my rules, no put downs ever. And they know that they're in for a sermon from Mrs. Pridmore at recess if they do.
Reverend sermon.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't put people down.
Sure.
Yeah. We lift each other up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like that. Cool. Well, thank you, Crystal. We're going to segue into the next section. We went through a really thick portion. Now we're going to a more light portion, or
bring it on.
A lightning round. Spiccato.
Big on it. Ooh, I have one.
You have one.
I do.
So could you please explain, Crystal, what is the cocktail?
So it is the lightning round, and we've decided we've come up with some different ideas. So we can either ask each other questions to answer, and you have to come up with as quick an answer as possible. Or I suggested maybe we should each bring in some silly things that we've used in our music room, and before revealing how we use it in our music room, go around quickly, and you can say how you would use it. So are you ready for this? I
am ready.
Okay, so I am going to preface this by saying that I rescued this out of on its way to the dumpster pile a couple months ago, and I've had a lot of fun with it.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
So for our audio listeners, can you explain what is in front of us,
Yes.
Crystal?
This is a giant human jaw and a toothbrush.
So what do you do with it? Or what should we do with it?
Yeah, okay, so I'll pass this around.
Okay.
So how do you think you would use this in your music room?
I think that you would get a set of googly eyes, you throw it on top of this bad boy, and he just talks.
I like that, actually.
Yep,
I like it.
That's how I do.
So you basically turned it into a puppet.
Yeah, it would be.
And I love puppets.
It would be a puppet.
I would go farther, actually, because we both ate. Oh gosh.
For the record, it's upside down. The big teeth go on top.
You know what? Don't judge this.
No, he's got a fierce underbite.
I know. Pretty severe underbite.
Using this as kind of like a sense of imitation. So, Mr. Mouth Face will be singing.
It's a really good name, John.
And the toothbrush would be facing towards Mr. Mouth Face. And when it's their turn to sing, they sing back. And so the toothbrush would serve as a sense of whose turn is it to sing.
Got it. Toothbrush pointing to me, my turn. Toothbrush pointing to you,
exactly.
your turn.
And then afterwards, make sure you just like brush in circular motion.
All the plaque.
All plaque.
Yep.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
My electric toothbrush is a 2-minute toothbrush.
That's a good standard.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
I always heard you have to sing happy birthday. Oh, that's washing hands. Just kidding.
Oh. Yeah, my first thought was just like sleigh ride of the, that one instrument, that one cue. But yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it doesn't quite make the...
No, it needs to be flatter.
What if you turn it the other way? No,
What do you mean, this way?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. That would work.
No,
Okay,
it's
that's
terrifying.
lovely.
Crystal, share us your specialties.
So, when I was at the National ORF Conference back in November, we were doing some movement in, I believe it was Paul Krabari's session, and he talked about how when he was teaching pull for the Laban movement effort, he felt like he was more successful with it once somebody said, pretend like you have a hook on yourself and you're being pulled. And that, sorry, didn't mean to scare you. And then like, and the rest of your body follows. Ooh. And then you get a much more effective visual pull. Huh. So I was telling that to the kids and making this bite them gently and pulling them across the room. We had a lot of fun.
Why are all your kids biting each other?
Mrs. Pridmore, why do our students have now tears in their clothes?
Oh my goodness. Also, I got so excited when you said really cool. Paul Krabari. Isn't he coming?
He is. Oh we just won. So I'm taking over as president of the San Diego American Orphan Work Association chapter. And we just won the national auction.
Yep.
To have Paul Krabari come present for us.
Well done.
Yeah, very excited. We're very excited to welcome him to San Diego. You're going to love it, Paul. You're never going to want to leave.
Also, everyone should come to our ORF workshops.
Yes.
Because they're great.
They are great. We have a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Round of the week. We do have a round of the week. I taught this to my kids, and I'm pleased to report that 4 kids got it, and they were the only ones. The rest of them were like, I don't get why it's funny. But anyway, here it goes. Outside, outside of a dog, a book is man's best friend indeed. Inside, inside of a dog, it's much too dark to read.
I was listening to Melodic Line and I missed the joke.
Outside of a dog.
Sing it again. Sing it.
Outside, outside of a dog, a book is man's best friend indeed. Inside, inside of a dog, it's much too dark to read.
Is this like a Magic School Bus type situation where you're inside of a dog?
Yeah, they shrunk us
Okay.
all into like a little
It's a
bus.
plan where it's
Honey, I Shrunk the
outside of a dog.
Teachers.
A book is man's best friend indeed. Inside of a dog, it's much too dark to read.
I like. You want to try this out?
It's pretty.
It's a run-on sentence, but we got this. That's what I was thinking about the first time. It's like a run-on sentence. Oh my gosh. All right. Cool words.
How about just me against y'all?
Cool. We can read
Okay.
line by line and call and response. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Outside of a dog,
Outside of a dog.
a book is man's best friend indeed.
A book is man's best friend indeed.
Inside of a dog,
Inside of a dog.
it's much too dark to read.
It's much too dark to read.
What do you think?
That's funny.
So let's sing it all the way through, and then we'll try it around.
Let's
Okay,
try.
once together, and then once me against all three of you, okay?
Cool.
Okay, let's go. Outside of a dog, a book is man's best friend indeed. Inside of a dog, it's much too dark to read. Outside of a dog, a book is man's best friend indeed. Inside of a dog, it's much too dark to read.
Inside of a dog, it's much too dark to read.
Nailed it.
See, singing is just about having fun. It's not about being perfect.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, Crystal, thank you for not just being here, but also hosting us.
You got it.
First off, before we end off this our coda section, I want us to ask, what are you guys doing right now? Mm-hmm. So, start with you, Mark. Why not?
I'm still teaching. All of you
Like a
guys are
champion.
starting on summer break,
Yes,
and
we
I still
are.
got another week. Look, our school got modernized, and so I had a longer summer, which honestly was pretty terrible. I was going crazy.
Sad
While y'all were
times.
back in school using your ORF stuff, I was sitting at home and like,
You were helping
Anyway.
some of us out. which
Working on
too.
your tan.
yeah,
We appreciate it.
well, yeah, I need to work on my tan again. But I'm currently just kind of wrapping up the year. We just had 3 fairly large events within the span of like 3 weeks.
Okay.
And so my classroom has been just a tornado, and I haven't had a chance to like get it clean and organized. So this upcoming week, I don't have students because it's last week and everyone's gone on field trips and everything like that. So I'll be doing inventory, cleaning instruments, and prepping my instruments for ORF level training down in San Diego. So that's what I'm working on.
Nice.
Cool.
Yep.
And since the 3 of us are on, we just started summer break. How about change
be
the question
nice.
up a bit? You'll get there. You'll get there. What musical activities, either for education or for your own personal benefit, are you doing right now, or do you plan to do over summer break?
Well, we're taking a trip to Hawaii in a week, and we have a tour of an ukulele factory.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah, so I'm pretty
Awesome.
excited
Which
about
one?
that. I don't remember.
Excellent.
Yeah, but we're very excited.
The
about
small ones.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're gonna go see how ukuleles are made, take a lot of pictures, learn some tunes.
Cool.
It'll be great.
Zoe, how about you?
Well, so I'm a little bit sad because I'm not going to be joining you guys in ORF Level 3, but for good reason. My only brother's getting married in Spain, and I, like the true nerd I am, I was looking at professional development, things and the different newsletters that appear in your inbox. Keith Terry will be in Spain the same time. And he's doing a workshop in San Sebastian 2 days after my brother's wedding.
Oh my
I'm
gosh, are you
should I
going?
go? I
That's
don't,
great.
I don't
Yes,
know.
you 100%.
I think you
should
totally
go.
should.
I know.
Yes.
I'm considering.
Do it.
I use his stuff all the time. We're actually incorporating Keith's rhythm of math curriculum next year.
It is
in
so-
3rd grade. I'm
Oh,
very
wait, is this the
excited.
kind that I missed?
Yes. You missed.
You should just come to San Sebastian.
There you go.
Nice.
No,
Okay,
he has
okay.
to take level 3.
That's right.
As for me, I focus so much on education that this summer I really want to focus on just the performance aspect of music. So I'll just be recording songs that either my brother and I wrote or just covers, and just for sake of music, not being the sake for work, but being the sake for expression. So
I like
that's
it.
what my plan is.
Nice.
Oh, well.
Good. Got to feed your soul.
Got it from the soul.
Got to.
Before we end off, where can we find y'all, Mark?
You can find me on Twitter. My handle is Mr. Keehmer, Keehmer. There you will find lots of pictures and videos of my classroom.
Mr. MR, correct? Not MISTER. It's
You
MR.
can try MISTER,
Okay.
see what you find, but you won't find me.
Cool.
Yes, MR.
Crystal, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Finny Vappa, and you can find me at www.crystalpridmore.com.
Awesome.
Nice. I'm at Ms. Kumagai.
And I am at Mr. Seligman, MRSELIGMAN. Like Mark, you can see the bunch of stuff that I post with my students or just random music stuff. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next time.
The Chaotic Harmony podcast is a joint project between Crystal Pridmore, Jonathan Seligman, Zoe Kumagai, and Marc Keehmer. You can find us online at chaoticharmonyclassroom.com. You can email us at chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com and let us know what you think. Give us feedback about what you would like to hear in future episodes. We're on all the socials. Find us on facebook.com/chaoticharmonyclassroom. You can find us on Twitter at @CHClassroom, Instagram at Chaotic Harmony Classroom, and you can even find our episodes on YouTube. Chaotic Harmony is the name of our channel. Special thanks to Brian Pridmore for his help with production and equipment. www.pridmoria.com.